Hello, thank you for joining me today for this video covering academics at North Dakota State University. We will be covering four main topics in this short video. We're going to look at academic programs, student-focused teaching, research opportunities, and hands-on learning. Before we get started, though, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Andrew Wolf, and I work as a Twin Cities admission counselor for NDSU. I'm also a 2017 graduate of the university, where I double majored in English and philosophy. So, of course, I have to throw in the old Go Bison at this point. Anyway, let's get started by talking about majors. NDSU offers over 100 majors to choose from, and they're split up into the 7 colleges that you now see on your screen. While we don't have time to go through all the majors right now, I would encourage you to visit ndsu.edu/programs to view a full list of our majors and learn about the ones you're most interested in. With all these majors available to you, there's truly something for everyone at NDSU. And with such a wide variety of academic programs on campus, our students have many opportunities to collaborate with and learn from one another in the classroom. A prime example of this collaboration is a class that our nursing, pharmacy, and health professions students take together. So sure, there's a lot of science involved in each of these majors, but once our students graduate and start working in a hospital or clinical setting, it's essential that they're comfortable working alongside each other as healthcare professionals. This class gives our students a preliminary experience to do just that. Students in this class are able to think about patient care not only from the perspective of their own major, but also from the perspective of their peers. And that's essential because ultimately they're all working toward the same goal of getting the patient healthy. Of course, that's just one example of collaboration among our academic programs. There are many more spread across all of our majors. Think, for example, of students from architecture and engineering working together on a project, or students from our programs in dietetics and hospitality and tourism management, or even business and visual arts students. No matter what major you choose, you can count on collaborating with your fellow Bison. Now, some of you may be wondering what happens if you don't know your major, whether that's right now or once you start at NDSU. I have great news for you. One, you're not alone in being undecided. It's very common. And two, we have awesome resources for our undecided students. For example, we have exploratory areas, which categorize our 100 plus majors into 5 much smaller emphasis areas, making it a little easier for you to decide which path to take. We also offer a class called Major Exploration and Academic Planning, which you can take whether you've declared a major or not. This is a great option if you're interested in learning about all the majors on campus. After all, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. As an NDSU student, you'll also be assigned an academic advisor, not only to help you sign up for the right classes each semester, but also to do some major and career exploration along the way. If you choose to start out as undecided at NDSU, you can start these conversations with your advisor as early as the spring of your senior year of high school. To make a long story short, our advisors are dedicated to your success as a student, and the same thing can definitely be said about our professors. Now, we've all heard those horror stories about college professors who are so steeped in their research that they barely make an effort to teach in the classroom. That's simply not what you'll find at NDSU, where one of the pillars of our university is student-focused teaching. NDSU professors hold office hours 2 to 3 times a week, in addition to whatever time they're already spending in the classroom. And this is a really good time for you to go in, talk with your professor, and bring up questions about what you're learning in class, or to ask for clarifications about an assignment, or maybe even to learn more about what they're researching outside the classroom. We'll come back to research in a minute, but while we're still on the topic of your classroom experience, I want to share a few key statistics with you. We've talked a lot about the 100 plus majors, but it's also important to note that NDSU is a mid-sized university with about 13,000 students. Despite our larger size, we still maintain a 16:1 student to faculty ratio, which allows for meaningful engagement with your professors and classmates. Of course, not every class you take is only going to have 16 students in it, but 2/3 of your classes will have 40 students or fewer, which again keeps things on the smaller side. Statistics only tell part of the story, of course, so I'll try and fill in the rest. At NDSU, you'll be taking relatively small classes with world-class faculty at a Division I top 100 research university. It's hard to get any better than that. What's more, you can get involved with research of your own at NDSU, sometimes as early as your first semester. Now, if you're anything like me, or at least how I was as a high school student, you may be tempted to fast forward through this part of the video. After all, what could be so great about getting involved in research? I'm glad you asked. For one thing, research allows you to take what you're learning inside the classroom and apply it to the real world, and that will give you a fresh perspective in many of the courses you're taking. Research also allows you to work closely with your professors, and who knows, you may even get your name on a research publication along the way. I should mention at this point that not all research involves a white lab coat and a microscope. We do have many such labs on campus, but we also have other types of research going on. For example, we have psychology students who use Fitbit technology to study sleep and its effect on classroom performance. We've also invested heavily in drone technology, which one of our natural resources management students uses to measure the reflected sunlight from wheat fields, allowing him to give a more accurate yield prediction come harvest time. And these examples are truly the tip of the iceberg when it comes to research at NDSU. Even if you don't get involved directly in research, our professors understand the importance of giving you a real-world experience in your classes. I always say that it's one thing to memorize a textbook for 4 years in college, but it's quite another to actually go out and do the things that you'll be doing in your career someday. Again, a couple of examples come to mind here. If you ever find yourself on NDSU's campus on a fine fall or spring day, there's a good chance that you'll see our civil engineering students out and about using land surveying technology to complete their assignments. Not a bad way to spend a class period. Another example of this is the Bison Fund, which gives our business and finance students the opportunity to invest real money in the stock market. The fund currently sits at above $1 million, and as an added bonus, all the money that is earned in the Bison Fund goes back and is used to fund NDSU student scholarships. And so I would invite you to think for a moment about how these types of experiences will benefit you when you're sitting down for that full-time job interview once you graduate from college. In many cases, when you get asked about performing certain job duties, you can say that you've been there and done that during your time as an NDSU student. But you don't just have to take my word for it. Let's look at the stats from our most recent career outcomes report. As you can see, in 2020, 88% of our graduates were employed or in graduate school within 6 months of graduating from NDSU. Although we're accustomed to this number being over 90%, we're quite proud of our graduates for achieving this highly in the midst of a pandemic. And not only are our graduates getting placed at high rates, but they're making good money while doing it, as the median starting salary is about $52,000 per year, with a median bonus of $5,000 per year. If one of the primary goals of your college education is to get a well-paying job once you graduate, then you won't find many universities that do this better than NDSU. So what's next? As you can see, there are a number of steps you can take from here, but I would really like to encourage you to start exploring majors sooner rather than later. Like I said earlier, you can go to ndsu.edu/programs to find more information about all 100+ majors we offer. You can also find contact information for your assigned admission counselor by visiting ndsu.edu/admission and navigating to the Meet Our Staff page. We would love to hear from you with any questions that you have. In closing, Academics at NDSU are characterized by our various and collaborative majors, student-focused professors, research involvement, and hands-on learning opportunities. I really do appreciate you joining me today for this video on academics at NDSU. Again, feel free to reach out with any questions, and as I said at the beginning, go Bison.